get the timing down for when it stops, then as soon as it stops, flies directly up, don't worry about hitting its head, and just get into that section there. And then once you're here, make sure you don't get hit by this wind either, because as I mentioned, that will also instantly kill Mui. So just take your time, get the timing down, wait till the fan ends, and then immediately head through. And the reason we're doing this is we want Mui to activate a switch that's on the roof here, you'll see there. And what that will do is de-electrify the cable. Mui can then shoot through it to open the rope, and it will also turn off the fans. So at that point you can stop controlling the drone and continue to the right hand side. Which is, you know, in isolation that section is probably the hardest. So if you don't get it, I would recommend just practicing it and then coming back through chapter select to try and complete this for the completing the game with no deaths.
Hola.
We'll have a nice little walking section now. Now, this section is another, unfortunately, quite complex one. Complex just in that there is several moving parts to this, and there's timing. Timing is always the hardest for me personally. So what you want to do is have Mui stand on the tunnel on the left there, and then crawl through to hide in this bush. Now, what you want to do is use Mui's bait to attract the spider drone's attention. So when he's on the far right there, and when he turns round and gets attracted to Mui, you want Mui to press Y, go straight back down the hole, you move along to the next set of grass, and then repeat that until you're on the far side. And it's kind of hard to see because of the dust, but you can actually hide under the wedge on the right hand side. You can crouch underneath it. So we'll just do that again one more time. Then we'll crouch all the way to the right hand side. Now, what we need to do is the opposite. We now need to use ourselves as bait. Well, the camera's a bit funky here, but what we need to do is use ourselves as bait so that Mui can get to us. So we will peek outside of the grass, or the kind of hiding bush section on the right hand side. We will peek out, and when we do, what we want to do is recall Mui to us so that Mui runs into the bush, and when Mui runs into the first bush, we will press B again so that Mui will stay there and wait for us to proceed. So here we go. So we'll hide while the drone's got our attention. We'll get Mui into the first bush, and then we'll wait for the drone to de-aggro. And once the drone has de-aggroed and returned to the center of the screen, we will repeat this process another 1 or 2 times. I think I do it twice more because I was a bit paranoid about getting caught. This was my perfect run, so this was the run where I completed it without any deaths. But yeah, the camera can be a bit wonky here, so basically what you're going to do is make sure you stay in the right vision but don't get caught by the drone. And then when the drone goes all the way to the left, you just want to recall Mui to you. And then continue ahead. This next section's not difficult, just scary. So all you need to do is crouch in the bush underneath the rock on the right here, and then you need to get close enough that you can point Mui up to the top level. Now this will get the drone's attention, but what you need to make sure is you recall Mui immediately after getting its attention so that you can both sprint to the right. And obviously, as you sprint to the right, there will be a cutscene triggered, and this is where you and Mui will be separated. So that was the end of the desert level. So now we just need to proceed ahead, and this is the Oasis. So this is a very short chapter. It's essentially just one puzzle. But the majority of this chapter is actually just waiting for one of the NPCs to start the puzzle, essentially. So I will keep Sturm everything will happen, and I'll come back to you when the puzzle starts. So this is another dream sequence. You just need to do the same things you've done previously, and I'll come back to you when we're back in the oasis and ready to do the puzzle. Okay, so as I mentioned, there'll be a puzzle in this section. I will show the answer to it. You can work it out yourself if you want, but I will show exactly what you need to do. As I mentioned, this is the NPC we'll be waiting for, so we'll have a little chat with him here, and then what we'll need to do is wait for him to activate some generators so that we can use certain parts of the area to solve a puzzle. It's just a kind of match puzzle using dots and dashes similar to Morse code. You need to match the dots and dashes to letters. Now, unfortunately, as I mentioned, the majority of the time we'll just be waiting for him. So I'll come back to you once he finally has walked all the way to the generator in about 5 minutes.
Tilai, Lana. Olai Rakuen.
Okay, so now we have the power. We just need to enter the correct code into these 5 monitors here. If you just press X and make sure that the symbols that are on the screen match what I have, you'll then just need to go over to the right hand side by the generator and interact with it to start the next section. This entire section coming up is a QuickTime event essentially. So if, like me, you're playing with QTs off, then it will just be a long cutscene, but it's fairly easy even with QuickTime events on, so don't worry about it too much. But I'll come back once we're back into regular gameplay. So at the end of the sequence, you'll fall off your drone robot, and you'll just need to immediately land at the right of the screen to escape from the control spiders. And that will also be the achievement for completing that section. Okay, so this section is probably the second hardest, or this chapter, sorry, is the second hardest in the game. What you want to do is just hide in the boxes here and do the usual wait till the drone passes and continue ahead. You'll need to climb up on top of the actual covering rather than climbing up to the edge of the second ledge, just to make sure you can actually make the jump. So do as I do here, and then continue ahead. So just run to the right here, and what we want to do is drag the box that we see here